Shalom Aleichem, Assalamu Alaikum, Irini Mazisu, Pax Vobiscum. Peace be unto you, Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to 2 Samuel, chapter 11. There are 27 verses. In verse 1 it says, after the year was expired. This is an addition in the Masoretic. However, in the Septuagint it reads like this, and it came to pass when the time of the year for kings going out to battle had come around. So this is the time of the year for the kings to come out to battle. The year had not expired. In verse 3, we see a difference of the names. Beersheba, or in the Greek, Bersabi, versus the popular name we all know, most of us anyway, Bathsheba. And then the father of Bathsheba, or Beersheba, is Aholiab in the Septuagint, or Eliam in the Masoretic. Verse 4 it says, describes how she came in unto him in the Masoretic, but it's actually King David who took her and then he came to her. Okay, so yes, he went in unto her. So let me just fix that. Made a mistake there. She came in unto him. Okay. So that's verse 4. Verse 8 talks about the food that David or Dawid had given to Uriah. A portion of meat versus a mess. Okay, so what is a mess? I don't even know. We don't really use that nowadays in the colloquial. Maseth, it means burden, portion, largesse, contribution, tribute. So it is a portion. It's just expressed differently by the translator. Verse 11. The question is, how, in brackets, should I do this? Talking about Uriah responding to Dawid, saying, how should I do this? As your soul lives, I will not do this thing, to lie with his wife, while his fellow soldiers and his lord Joab are fighting. Their lives are at stake, and he is just going to do this? Versus, you live and your soul lives. So that is redundant. We can see in the Septuagint, it's more clear that how should I do this? How can I do this? He's showing his guilt. His conscience is his conscience is telling him not to do it. So it's the translators who inserted should I do this as, but that makes more sense that they inserted these words. It gives more sense to the language, to the verse itself. So that's verse 11. Verse 15. Now this one is very subtle, but I meditated on it a little bit, and it says here, retreat from behind him, versus to retire you from him. So I read the Septuagint as being more insidious, because Uriah is not aware of when Joab and his men are retreating from behind his back. Okay, versus in the Masoretic, retire you from him simply means abandon him, just leave him, but he could be aware of them leaving, whereas in the Septuagint he's just been not only put to die, but they abandon him, they retreat from behind him, perhaps when he's not looking, but that's anyway, behind him, from behind his back is how I read that. Verse 23, there's an omission. The omission is as follows: all the affairs of war. And David was very angry with Joab and the messenger. Okay, am I in the wrong chapter right now? What's going on here? All the affairs of war, is at verse 24. Okay. Okay, it's actually verse 22. My mistake. Verse 22, there's an omission, not 23. All the affairs of war. And Dawid was very angry with Joab, and said to the messenger, Why did you draw near to the wall to fight? Knew you not that you would be wounded from off the wall? Who smote Abimelech, the son of Jerubbaal? Did not a woman cast upon him a piece of millstone from the wall, and he died in Thamasi? Why did you draw near to the wall? So why was all this omitted? Well, it was mentioned in verse 21, but this was simply Joab predicting what David would say. And this, verse 22, confirms everything that he thought David would say actually came to pass. So he knows his king very well. And it's only, in my opinion, it only adds to how close Joab was to David, and just how David kind of followed the script, so to speak, of what Joab thought he would say. To the T, really. There wasn't anything he deviated from in his statement. It's almost comical in a small way, too. Verse 25, this is another subtle one. It says here, David responding to the messenger saying, this is what you will say to Joab. This is the statement that is subtle. It says, For the sword devours one way at one time and another way at another. Basically, stuff happens. Bad things happen. People die. One way at one time and another way at another. So they die at a specific time or random time, and they die in a different way or in a random way. So life happens. How does the Masoretic render it? The sword devours one as well as another. So people die, and just people die. That's what it means. The sword kills one and kills another. People die in war. What do you expect? So, in any case, they're both rather unfeeling, but it's interesting to see the subtle difference here, that David is a little more philosophical in the Septuagint, saying that, people die. It is given for men to die, especially, on the battlefield, in a specific way, in a specific time. There's like a time and place or circumstances where death occurs. It's kind of waxing philosophical there, whereas in the Masoretic, it's more people die. A little less feeling. Not that the other one's more feeling, but I just think he's a little more apathetic in the Masoretic. Didn't mean to rhyme that. Okay, verse 27. Our last difference, it's talking about how David did that which was evil in the eyes of Adonai, in the eyes of Yah, versus what he did displeased Yah. He wasn't satisfied with it. He was not, did not approve of it. No, it was much stronger than just not approving of it. It was evil. It was straightforward, black and white. It was evil. Let's look at the Hebrew here. To tremble, to quiver, to be grieved, to be sad, displeased. So it's more about emotion, whereas in the Septuagint, it's not about emotion. It's really the difference between good and evil. So that's all for this chapter. I wanted to continue the streak. We're doing a video a day, it seems, for the last, I want to say almost 2 weeks now. So our goal is to finish this book of 2 Samuel in the next 2 weeks. So thank you very much for your time. Till next time, I bid you all Shalom Aleichem, Assalamu Alaikum, Erini Mazisu, Pax Vobiscum, peace be unto you, and Maranatha.